All right, Brooke. I have my wallet and there's something that I want to show you. I have this card. My mom gave this to me before college. So 2016. I've had this in my wallet for 15 years.
This is Fraud to Fearless.
Friends, you are made for more purpose, more confidence, more impact. Because when you live fearless, you inspire others to do the same.
Let's go! Wow.
And my now boss, so last year we recruit together at Utah State, and my now boss, we did a home and home series. So everyone flew into Utah. We went to my mom's house and we had like a team dinner with the recruiting team. And we made homemade pizzas and then peach cobbler, which is my mom and stepdad's like favorite meal. And
They're
we're
the
on their
best.
deck and it's just this beautiful view of the mountains. Everyone's having pizza, having a great time, limoncello for those who drink. And then we went to his parents' house, and they've got a whole bunch of land, and they're some of the biggest cattle ranchers in Utah.
Wow.
Um, and so they got a whole bunch of land, they got a farm, and so we went to his parents' house, and I noticed this picture um, on their wall. And it caught my eye and it looked a little different to me. But I knew I had seen that before. And I'm going to share my screen, and show you, just so for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. So I'm at my boss's parents' house on this farm, and I see this picture. So Cowboy, you can see he's got a calf on the horse with a lantern, but the 10 principles weren't there. There were no words. It was just this picture. And I was like, I know that picture. And I pull my wallet out and I pull my card that is always in my wallet. Like,
No.
you can see how beaten up this thing is. It's 15 years in my wallet. Um,
Yeah.
but it's 10 principles to live by. And I want to go through them with you. And then we can each pick our favorites and talk about them. And if there's any that we do a bad job of doing or we want to hold each other accountable for, then we can do that. So this is the 10 Principles to Live By, Cowboy Ethics by James P. Owen. It's been in my wallet for 15 years. You can go to www.cowboyethics.org. I think it's cool, Brooke. We both went to Utah State agriculture school, and a lot of us are either grew up around farms and like baling hay and like manual labor, or our parents did, or our parents' did, just being in that part of the world. And I think that's a big part of the culture of what it means to be an Aggie and what it means to be from Utah and what it means to be a graduate from Utah State. And I think it is encapsulated in these 10 things. So here we go. Number 1, live each day with courage. Good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
2, take pride in your work. 3, always finish what you start. 4, do what has to be done. 5, be tough but fair. 6, when you make a promise, keep it. 7, this is one of my favorites, ride for the brand. 8, talk less and say more. 9, remember that some things are not for sale. And 10, know where to draw the line. What do you think?
I'm writing them down. This is good. Wow. This is good. Yeah, I think a couple of these stood out to me. The first one was when you make a promise, keep it.
Yep.
So I really like this because being able to build trust with others, but also trust with yourself.
Yep.
So thinking back, and I don't know, for some reason, even when you pulled up that picture, I'm thinking what it was like back in the olden days versus what it is like now.
Yeah.
And in the olden days, you hear stories and you read in text, even in scripture. It's like when people make a commitment and they shake on it, you don't you don't cross that. Like you trust somebody. When someone says that they're going to do it, they do it. And there was just this underlying honor and code of ethics. And it feels like it's kind of deteriorated from that. Like a handshake doesn't mean what it used to. Like a promise doesn't mean what it used to. And how many times, Hayden, have I told myself, like, I'm going to do something? I tell myself I'm going to do something and then I don't do it. And I break promises to myself. Um, there's a book called The Four Agreements. One of this is like 100% honesty with yourself and how that will change your life if you just commit to keep your promises and be 100% honest, how that changes everything. So sometimes it's easy to like go over these and be like, oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do all of those things. But really looking at yourself, do I do these?
Yeah. I think like one example in the business world is, have you ever responded to a leader or a customer that is frustrated that something is taking so long and you said, "Yes, I'll get on this. This will be closed out ASAP." I hate ASAP. It is such crap. When someone says ASAP, they're just trying to feed the ego of the leader or whoever that they're sending that message to. It's BS. Because ASAP means as soon as possible, meaning I'm going to drop every single thing that I'm doing and I'm going to complete this task as soon as it can possibly be done. But I get told ASAP all the time, and then it's like 3 days later. It's like, what have you been doing for 3 days? So it's like, don't tell me ASAP then. Like, let's just I wish we could eliminate ASAP from corporate America, because it 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 just like tells the leader, okay, I can remove this task from my brain. They're good. They're on it ASAP. They told me ASAP. But then you're like, wait a second. I think it's been like a day or 2 days since I've seen any movement on this. They said ASAP, so it's like, that's an example that it's like,
Mm,
if you're going to make a promise, keep it. And that includes time. Like if you say, I'm going to get something done by close of business or by EOD today, then that customer should get some sort of an update, even if you're not able to complete the task. And that is one of the worst unkept promises in corporate America.
mhm. Yeah, it's interesting because this is the same thing that I see in my line of business, Hayden. I mean, I work day in and day out with goals. People that they say, I'm ready to step into living the life I want to live. And there's so much self-sabotage. What it usually comes down to in the beginning is they actually don't believe they can keep a commitment to themselves because they
Yeah.
have this huge evidence box of all the times they didn't. And so, step one that I share with my clients is you want to pick something so small, so simple that it's almost laughable, but you are going to keep that commitment, keep that promise to yourself, whatever it is. If it's instead of saying, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, if it's like, I'm going to move my body every single day, even if it's one push up before
Yeah.
bed. And knowing what that bare minimum is, maybe we have ideal bare minimum, what's the floor and ceiling kind of a thing, but building up the resilience to say, wait, I can trust myself personally also bleeds into your professional life and helps you exercise that muscle. So if you struggle with keeping promises to yourself or other people, I think, Hayden, what I'm hearing from you is your words matter. Like before
Yeah.
you say them, be careful about what you say professionally, personally, and then exercise that muscle by doing something small every day that you actually can commit to.
So there's a couple here that I think are similar and probably could be combined. So like when you make a promise, keep it, always finish what you start, take pride in your work. Like those three for me are very kind of similar.
Mm,
I think one that I really love is ride for the brand. And
mm.
so I
Yeah,
just
tell
think
me.
if you think about work life relationships, when you show up, for me, ride for the brand and take pride in your work, those two are related. But in my view is I think we disassociate ourselves from the groups that we represent on a day-to-day basis. It's very easy to do that. But it's like every day when I'm at work, I represent my family. I represent my parents, my siblings, all of my extended family. I represent Allie and Aubrey, my family that I've created. I represent Utah State, right? Because I'm an alumni, right? I represent if on the flip side, when I go next week and recruit on campus, I'm representing Honeywell and Honeywell Aerospace. Um, there's so many different I represent my friend group. I represent men. I represent the United States as a citizen.
Wow.
Like there's like I'm from Utah, born in Oklahoma, like adopted Carolinian. Like there's so many different groups that every single day when I just live life, I'm writing for those brands. And so I really love this idea of like a family shield, where back in the old days in, England, like each family had their own shield, or in some of the big families, like in Italy, you see this a lot. Just everyone's got a family shield. And I think nowadays we have lost sight of that kind of pride in brand and family and tradition. And I think that's a miss. This is why I quite enjoy tattoos. So Brooke, I don't know if you know this, but I do have one. I have a tattoo. Me and my family all got a
You
matching
told me
tattoo.
this.
Um, but for those that do a tattoo, that like most people, when I talk to them about their tattoos is their version of a family shield, something that means something a lot to them, that is a symbol of pride and riding for that brand. And so that one to me, I would like to reflect on it more and just make sure that it's like in a core principle of how I live my life. But that one to me is one of the most important.
Oh, I love that so much. I'm so glad that you brought up like the family shield and all of that. In my mind, I'm just picturing, these ancient kings that would ride and you would see them riding on their horses with these big flags and it has their family crest. I actually have been working for a few years now on our making my own family crest and I'll have to show you like some inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
but I want it when my kids get a little bit older, I want them to be a part of it, so that's kind of the delay. I have
Mm-hmm.
these different coins that I've got over the years, and I think we've talked about a couple of them, but on this one, it has, like, what this is, like, armor, and it has what the shield means and what the lion means and what the feet and, like, it's this powerful thing, and I wanna give my kids, like, a coin to remember, like, this is the family that you're a part of,
Heck
but
yeah.
I loved what you said that as I was picturing, it came to my mind like the name tags, right, that we wear. So as a missionary, I wore a name tag that said Jesus Christ. Like actually putting that on me every day, that and everybody could see the name Jesus Christ on my name tag. that influenced how I showed up. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to go screaming at people if this is who I'm representing. Then I thought about our name tags at Utah State when we
Mhm.
wore our MBA, our MHR. We're representing. So when you were listing all of your things, I just had this picture in my head of what if we took all of the people that we represent and we just had like name tags covering us every single day.
Yeah.
And so when you go up to meet someone, it's like I'm representing my like I had all my family's names on there and my where I'm from. Like that made me want to get emotional. I'm representing women. I'm
Yeah.
representing whatever it is. And how would that, because it's so visible for everyone to read, actually influence how we show up? Because you're right. I'm not thinking about that every day. Like when I'm, you know, running out the door and running into my grocery store with sweats and, whatever. I'm just running in. And not that it's bad to run in there with sweats, but it's like how I'm interacting with people and everything else. That's powerful, Hayden. That's powerful.
Yeah. No, I think that's a super important one. The one I think I need to work on the most, which is ironic because it's my favorite number, but number 8, I need to talk less and say more. I've always been had a tendency to be long-winded, and I get uncomfortable when there's long periods of silence. And so I'm working on it. But that one is really hard for me because my communication style is to talk it out and to say the thoughts on my mind. And sometimes that means repeating myself. And as a big leader and also navigating, I have 7 people that report to me right now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different countries, very different cultures. Most of my team, English is not first language. And so it's incredible like how talented my team is. My team has 70 years of tenure with
Wow.
Honeywell. Um, and so every relationship is unique. Each individual relationship is unique. I've got a weekly one-on-one with everyone. We have a tier meeting with all of us on the call, and everyone operates and behaves very differently in those settings. And so navigating that dynamic and kind of building and like watering, like if it was a plant, like watering each relationship individually, but then all of us together as a team, as a relationship, and then my role as the leader, just making sure that I'm not always long-winded and talking less, but saying more
Wow.
is something I want to focus on.
Oh, I love that one. Okay. I would say the one that I struggle with or like I want to work on most, and then I hope we end on courage, but you tell me. The one that I want to work on is know where to draw the line. Was it the last one?
Yep.
Know where to draw the line. So, Hayden, this is an interesting one because I think to me, when you read that, to me, it sounds like boundaries. And I heard it said once that boundaries is basically defining like where I end and you begin kind of a thing. And it shapes our life, right? Sometimes with some of these other things that you put in your list, like take pride in your work, always finish when you make a promise, keep it, and then know where to draw the line. Like the hyperachiever in me can run myself to the ground. Like I've got to do this until whatever because it is representing my brand. It is all this stuff. I made these commitments, blah, 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 blah. And but at what cost? And
Hmm.
so sometimes this is the experience of life that we just have to learn and we learn where the lines are and then we learn how we communicate those and it's hard. But I think sometimes I don't decide that. I don't think through it before I make the commitments or whatever else. Like, I haven't decided in my mind, this is where the line should be. I just kinda learn from experience until I fall off the cliff or, like, something else. So, I don't know the answer to this one, but I think strong boundaries and taking care of ourselves in the areas that matter most are so important, and then keeping that promise to yourself and making sure that there's alignment across these different rules.
Life is an ever-changing juggling contest. And I kind of feel on this episode at times we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, because it's like, if you say you're going to do something, do it, and do it by close of business or end of day or ASAP. But then on the other side, it's like, there's only so much we can do in a day. And it is very easy to overfill your plate to the point that you are not having fun anymore. It's just, sometimes I wake up and I feel like from Monday through Friday, I am always on the clock. I'm always letting someone down. I'm always behind at something. I'm not doing good enough in any aspect of life. And I don't really know that if that's going to change. I think that's just being a leader and a parent and a friend. And that's just what growing up feels like. And so if you're feeling that this way, for those of you listening, like, you're not alone. And I think that that emotion is normal and very common. And I think the only thing that can change is how we navigate when we feel that way. And we learn what are glass balls and what are rubber balls and which ones can drop and which ones can't. And every once in a while, we're going to have a glass ball drop, and that's okay. Let's learn from it. Like, I don't think it's realistic that we're never going to make mistakes and we're always going to be perfect at juggling all the time. I think this is just what life is like. And so
Mhm.
I think the sooner we all recognize that and learn that, I think the happier we'll be. And one of the things that, it's been weird, Brooke, this past month in this new job, it's been really hard. And one of the things that I'm really proud of myself is telling myself that I'm proud of myself. I even told my boss, I was like, you know what? This is super weird to tell my boss, but I'm proud of myself, man. Like, this has been really hard and I'm doing my best and I'm in the arena and I'm trying to be solution oriented, but it's really hard. It's a tough environment. Like, we're going through one of the biggest transformations a 100-year-old company has ever gone through. It's not going to be easy, but that doesn't mean that it's not hard, you know? And so I
Mhm.
think, just again, bird's eye view and just thinking like, good job, Hayden, just like, good job, my guy, like, keep
Yeah.
going. And eventually you're going to get through this and you're going to learn and you're going to be able to get through things faster. But yeah, I think just having, just like knowing where to draw the line and having boundaries, but then also living each day with courage. Because for me, I have the sign on my work desk that says be brave. Brave is like one of my words that I meditate on all the time. But yeah, being brave is super important to me. And it, whatever you do in your life, work life relationships, whatever your job is, whatever your family situation is, wherever you live, it requires courage and
Mhm.
bravery to get up in the morning, to put yourself out there, to navigate relationships, to try to put your mark on this world. It requires courage. And I just think that it is so important, and it's something that is always needed. Courage is always going to be needed. And if you want to do good things, if you want to succeed, like, Brooke, you mentioned earlier, if you want success, you have to fail. And in order to fail, you have to try. And in order to try, you have to have courage. And so go fail, go have courage, go succeed, go try, but it all starts with courage, and so we all need to not lose sight of that. Boom.
Mic drop.
So, Brooke, this card means a lot to me. I would not sell this thing. So even if someone came to me and said, "Hey, Cowboy Ethics, Hayden, that episode was so good, man. Like, let me give you $1 million for this card." I mean, I'd probably sell it and buy another one. But no, I've had this card in my wallet for 15 years. It means a lot to me. My mom gave it to me. I feel like these 10 things is like how I try to live my life. For those of you listening, would love to know, of the 10 principles, we've got it in the show notes. What is the one that resonates with you the most, and which one is the hardest naturally to you? We'd love to hear your comments and what you think of the 10 principles to live by. But there's a quote on the card that I'll read to close us out. We can all be heroes in our own lives. So go be a hero in your own life, team. Team Fearless out. For now, y'all, that's the pod.